quite as effective. So, and I think that came into play for Bates as they came through.
Send me in, Coach. You can't do replacements in this sport either, can you?
No substitutions. Timeout at 500. I want to substitute the 4-seat.
Really. I want the 3-seat to be somebody different.
But, that's the challenge as a coach and as an athlete, to maintain your focus when, Jim called it distress. You start blacking out if you're rowing as hard as you can. So to maintain your technique, get your head up, get your blade in, and keep driving takes courage, determination, and focus. So and again, I think we'll see all the crews improve over the weekend. For many of them, this is their first real lash out against top competition.
Jim, from a coaching technique, what is it that you can say or do that might help in the effort that Patty just mentioned about keeping that concentration and keeping it throughout?
Well, the big thing is relaxation. Tension and friction's the enemy of boat speed. And if you get tense, shoulders raised up, forearms tight, gripping on the oars we mentioned earlier, then it takes away from that recovery part from when the blade releases from the water down to the next stroke. So if you're rowing tense, it certainly doesn't help the effort when you put the power to it. So you've got to kind of have a level head, kind of be like an assassin sort of, very calm when it's time to pull the trigger for that next stroke. So it's one of those things. You've got to be a teacher first and a coach second, and you've got to teach them how to be calm under pressure.
Well, we're getting ready for event number 27 down your way, sir, the men's collegiate second varsity, and this is the third of the 3 heats. And let's hear the lineups and get ready to go.
All right, we've got event number 27, men's collegiate second varsity 8, heat C, lane 1, Oregon State University. Lane 2, University of British Columbia. Lane 3 is Orange Coast College. Lane 4, UCLA. Lane 5, University of Southern California. Lane 6, University of San Diego. Still quite calm here, not too much sculling about as the starter pulls the crews.
British Columbia, Orange Coast,
We're at Orange Coast,
UCLA,
now UCLA,
Southern California.
and USC. So here we go.
Attention.
Attention, and
Go!
there's the start. Race number 27, men's collegiate second varsity 8. All boats away cleanly. SC having a little of white water coming off their starboard side, but they're away cleanly. Appears the early race leader in lane 2, University of British Columbia. I'm following right behind that crew. Doing a nice job getting the boat up to speed. So UBC in lane 2 is your race leader. And then very close for that second spot between Oregon State in lane 1, Orange Coast, and UCLA. Coming up to 250 meters, it's still the Thunderbirds from UBC, your race leader. It appears that Oregon State is in that second spot, and UCLA in third, and Orange Coast in fourth. Trailing by a great margin over in lane number 6 is University of San Diego. So we're coming up to the 500 meter mark. It's still UBC, your race leader, being challenged by the outside lane, UCLA, and Oregon State now in the third spot with Orange Coast being in fourth. Crews established the rhythm. Impressive with UCLA in this outside lane coming up, and I think even challenging for the lead. So as we pass the 500 meter mark, UBC, your race leader, with UCLA, then quite a battle for that third spot between Orange Coast College and Oregon State University. That's the call at 600 meters.
We're into the third of 3 heats here for the men's collegiate second varsity. This is event number 27, and the lane assignments are Oregon State University in lane number 1, Our current leader, University of British Columbia, is in lane 2. Orange Coast College is stroking out of lane 3. Lane 4 is occupied by UCLA, and they are challenging for the lead. Outside of them in lane number 5, USC, and then the University of San Diego in lane number 6.
You know, Jim talks about how the crews are settling into their race pace. What happens on this start, especially on these men's crews, are you're trying to accelerate about 3/4 of a ton just using blades, you know, by prying the boat through the water. And so that first 45 seconds of the race is all about getting the boat up to maximal speed, and then you shift down to a sustainable speed. And that's a little tricky because if you shift too low, you're going to get dropped, and if you go too high, you're going to redline, and that third 500 is going to feel like rowing through mud. So the most of these crews, hopefully again early in the season, trying to find out what that sustainable speed is. But we've seen a lot of good racing here. We haven't really seen anyone totally get dropped, so I think everyone's pacing pretty well.
Well, this is a Navy town. They might talk to the carrier force and see about catapults. In lane number 1 is the Oregon State University, and they have come up on University of British Columbia and begun to close the gap quite a bit, as a matter of fact. Then out to lane number 4, UCLA is hanging in there. University of British Columbia has trailed back a little bit, as has Orange Coast College. And then all the way on the outside, well, all I see are 5 crews out there. I've lost track of one somewhere. Well, we'll worry about who's on the outside there. We have USC slated in lane 5 and the University of San Diego in lane 6. But out of the crews that we have coming down the course line, we only have 5, so we'll check on who has been left out. But going back to the leader, it is the University of British Columbia now has overtaken Oregon State, and on the outside UCLA continues to be a factor with Orange Coast College in that 4th position. And then whoever it is out in the outside lanes, USD or USC, we're not quite certain which of the two is out there and which was left out. Maybe one of the boats did not get to the start line in time. University of British Columbia continues to be on the lead with Oregon State, and then all the way on the outside UCLA, and then Orange Coast College. UCLA out there in lane number 4 is really exerting themselves and inserting themselves into this particular race. Lots of times during the day-to-day, our outside lanes have been non sequiturs in what's going on, but this time the lane 4 has said, we are here and we're not going away. University of British Columbia is in lane number 2 and continues to hang on to the lead. They're being challenged on the far outside by UCLA, and then Oregon State along the shoreline, and Orange Coast College has now dropped back to open water behind the leading 3. Now remember that this is the 3rd of 3, so only 2 are going to go forward. So there is going to be one heck of a fight right here as University of British Columbia in lane number 2 continues to try to hang on. Oregon State has ratcheted it up and now is moving briskly along the shoreline with UCLA on the outside. It is Oregon State coming up and challenging. Oregon State over UBC by a bow marker. It's Oregon State along the shoreline. University of British Columbia is in 2nd spot. UCLA now has fallen back, and then Orange Coast College. I don't know where Oregon State got whatever they got, but they kicked it in with about 100 meters to go, and it looks like they may have this thing in hand. Oregon State along the shoreline. University of British Columbia on the outside. On the far outside, it looks like UCLA will come in unofficially in that 3rd position, and Orange Coast College will finish 4th. And Patty, Oregon State, where did it come from?
My gosh, when they put the pedal down, that boat just lifted and went. And they didn't even really jack it up that much. Here we go.
Very impressive. And the interesting thing about it is it happened right directly in front of us, and it looked like Oregon State said, all right now, and away they went. It would have been nice to have had a mic on that particular boat. Not that we can get it on every boat. There's no criticism there, but boy, it would have been wonderful to have been a fly on the wall or on the hull right then to have heard the Oregon State coxswain really get into his crew, because they responded.
They took almost a half a seat every stroke. It was amazing. And we have USC coming in right now, and either they've decided to row it in or something happened out there, and I'm not sure what happened to University of San Diego.